Hi there, Jeff here from the Wetsuit Centre, talking to you today about the Billabong Revolution series for summer 2013. Always nice to be talking about summer wetsuits, and the Revolution has always been a very popular wetsuit, sort of mid-range wetsuit which sits between the sort of high-end suit like the Zero and the SG5 and the cheaper suits such as the Foil. So it's a good sort of mid-range suit, and boasts a lot of sort of features for a price around that value, but it's specifically geared up towards performance and people that are looking for a very flexible summer wetsuit, which most of us are. Okay, so what makes the Revolution a good suit, a good sort of performance wetsuit? One of the main things that you probably notice about looking at the suit is the amount of panels on the actual wetsuit. So really minimal panels. So what they do is they drop the smooth skin off the front of the wetsuit, and that allows them just to have one big panel across the whole front of the suit from the chest downwards, unbroken, no seams at all. Okay, and that gives a huge amount of flex through the suit and through the body, so it'll feel great when you've got it on. Around the back of the suit, it's a similar sort of thing, a few more seams, because what they've done is they've actually put in a thermal panel, which I'll show you in a second, around the kidneys to keep you a bit warmer. But around the lumbar, around the bum, you haven't got too many seams, and so it's not really restrictive. And any seams that they are, they're dipped to sort of match the shape of the body and sort of still give flex throughout the wetsuit, and so it's not too restrictive. Okay, so moving back to the front of the suit then. Primarily, the biggest sort of feature, or biggest benefit of this suit is the quality of neoprene. The neoprene is ultralight neoprene, whatever you want to call it, hyper stretch, super stretch neoprene, the whole way through. And basically it's a very lightweight grade of neoprene, lots of air inside it, so it's got a huge amount of flex and a huge amount of movement. You can sort of see that demonstrated on your arm there. And obviously that combined with the lack of seams gives a huge amount of flex with this suit. So that runs the whole way through, that hyper stretch neoprene. Really good, sticks to your body a bit better, moves with the wetsuit, and ultimately keeps you warmer and gives you more time in the water because you won't get as tired, hopefully. So that's the sort of quality of neoprene. All of the seams are glued and blind stitched, and then sort of sealed basically with a rubber taping over the top, so you get the liquid taping. So all of the seams completely sealed and then reinforced with the rubber taping on the outside of the wetsuit. Now Billabong love their liquid taping, they've been using it for a long time. They put it all over the suit here, all around the back as well. So they haven't gone for the thinner taping. It's very robust, it'll give it a longer shelf life. The only downside with this taping is sometimes it is a little bit restrictive, as you can imagine. You can probably feel the pull from that tape. So one thing they've sort of done to counteract that is they drop it off of the arms, as you can see there, and just go for the standard sort of stitching there, standard glued and blind stitching, stitched halfway through and then glued on the other side, just to sort of create a seal still. So it's still going to not let any water in, but it's going to give you a bit more flex through the arm there. Okay, and then around the wrists they just sort of give it a little bit of liquid taping on the inside, just to stick it against your wrist, and also to make sure that it doesn't rip apart on the sort of critical areas. And it's the same around the ankle. Okay, so the Revolution has always used the liquid taping. It's changed a lot over the last few years, but this is pretty much the same as last year's suit, this one. Not a huge amount changed at all, just the sort of styles of the wetsuit. We always stock this in a back zip and a chest zip because they're sort of both quite popular. More people are leaning towards the chest zip these days. Sort of primary benefit of a back zip is it's easier to get in and out of. So a lot of people stick with the back zips because they like the sort of ease of getting on and off, especially in a summer wetsuit. So you get the usual thing, adjustable collar that opens up. You get a little piece of Velcro on the inside here as well. You can stick it down, it doesn't stick against your suit and bauble it. That collar is adjustable, obviously. You get a YKK zip, which is a sort of like really hard wearing zip which won't corrode in salt water or get stuck, so it should last you a long time. You get a nice lanyard so you can pull it down. It comes sort of 3/4 length zip, so it doesn't come a huge amount down, but it will definitely allow you to get into the suit easier than a chest zip. Get a key pocket on the inside. Most importantly, with a suit of this value, as you would expect, you get an over the head system. So you get into the suit here, and then basically the suit goes up and over your, this piece of neoprene goes up and over your head, creates a better seal around your neck. And instead of water coming into the suit, it's basically met with this back wing, and then it's drifted out the back of the suit, and there's a little drain hole at the bottom of the suit there, as you can probably see. That basically is good for stopping any water that comes into the zip getting into the actual wetsuit, but also helps for flush throughs on the neck. Instead of going into your suit, most of the water will be redirected out the back through the drain hole, so you don't get flush throughs too much. Okay, which is a bonus. Quickly on the outside of the suit then, just to let you know, you get the standard Duraflex knee pads, basically very robust, stop them wearing through on the knees. And that's pretty much it. This is the sort of colourway we've gone with through on the back zip. It's like all grey with a bit of sort of colour on the wrists and on the arms there. It's quite a nice looking suit. What I'll do is I'll show you the inside of this suit, and then I'll move on to the chest zip, just to sort of show you the benefits of that suit. Really, just to tell you, as you can see, Billabong's ultra stretch neoprene is always coloured this way. The good thing about this suit as well, the actual lining they use, the jersey which goes over the neoprene, it's almost like a thermal lining the whole way through, as you can sort of see there. I don't know how well that comes out on the camera, but it's almost like a thermal lining in itself, so I think that will actually go some way to keeping you a bit warmer as well. But the actual thermal lining, as I talked about before, is around the lumbar region, around the back region. And basically what that is like a polypro material, very furry, very soft to the touch, just like thermal underwear. Basically, it's non-absorbent, so it dries nice and quick, but also it's got great thermal properties. So instead of water leaving your body, being lost through the neoprene, which only happens slowly but does happen, it is retained inside the suit with this thermal material. And that actually runs across the back of the back wing panel, so you can see that bit over the head here. So that will run across the whole back part of the suit, really sort of your kidneys upwards to keep you nice and warm. So that's a nice little feature. And then you also get the sort of critical taping on the seams just to give it a longer sort of shelf life. But this suit is going to feel great on because of the lining of the suit. It's quite furry and quite sort of quite comfortable. So then, moving on to the chest zip. Chest zip is the more popular of the two. I think more and more people are going for chest zips these days. And I think the principal reason is that they're sort of very flexible around the back of the suit. So obviously with the back zip you can't avoid the fact that you're going to need a zip running across the back, which is going to restrict the movement on the back of the wetsuit, which is the primary sort of area that you need flexibility with a lot of sports that you're using a wetsuit for, like surfing, bodyboarding, like windsurfing. It's nice to have that flex in the back of the suit. So it's a bit of a compromise because they're harder to get into, but you do get an unbroken seal around the neck, which stops any sort of as many flush throughs as you might get with a back zip, and also you don't have the need for a back zip on the back. Downside, it's harder to get in and out of, and so a lot of people do go with the back zips for that reason. With this suit then, as you can see, you get a good sort of, it's the same on the back zip as well, you get a little dip in the neck here. They've lowered the collar so it just fits around your Adam's apple nicely. Very soft, pinched in sort of seam around there. I don't know if you can see that, it's very thin. Basically that creates a nicer seal around your neck, and hopefully will let less water in and feel more comfortable. I think that's probably the primary thing. Nice colourway, you've got the sort of the whole navy blue the whole way through, a little bit lighter on the arms. Good if you're spearfishing, bit of camouflage from the fish. Opening up the chest zip then, it's sealed on one side, opens up on the other side, the zip comes across that way, so you're never going to have to sort of fiddle around with getting the zip on. It's a specially treated zip, you don't have any, it's waterproof, so no water coming through. You get a little key loop for your key. You also get the drain holes on the front and around the back of the chest zip as well. Yep, around the bottom here, this chest panel, so that any water that does come in, instead of going into the actual suit, it's met with these high pieces of neoprene here, and around the side the water's not going to come straight into the suit. It's met with these high pieces of neoprene and guided out of these drain holes, so you shouldn't have too many flush throughs again. It works in a similar way to the back wing on the other suit. Getting in and out of the wetsuit then can be a little bit trickier with the chest zip, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad at all. Basically, just reach inside, pull it inside out halfway, and you can slip it on like a pair of trousers and then up and over your shoulders. I do this with a winter wetsuit, the 543, which is a lot harder to get into this, and you do get used to it. Again, it's a similar thing on the inside. The thermal panel looks a bit different because it's just around your lumbar region, just around the kidneys there, rather than the whole back like the back panel. So that's the only real difference, but it's the same material, and it will do the same thing in terms of keeping your kidneys warm. Bit of liquid taping around the sort of critical areas again, and that's basically everything that's going on inside the Billabong Revolution series for 2013. Really popular wetsuit. It's a great performance, high performance wetsuit, really flexible, long lasting and durable, looks great, and it's definitely a winner. Great feedback about this wetsuit every year, whether it's winter or summer. And so I think that's pretty much why they haven't changed it too much for this year. We do the suit in a 3-2 and we do it in a 4-3 as well, so depending where you're using it, what time of year. But if you're looking for a performance wetsuit without spending too much money, then the Revolution is definitely a recommendation.